Okay, let's talk about noodles. It's all about noodles today. As you can see, I've got a big array of noodles here. So I'm gonna slowly talk you through and I'll get them out and show you the texture and what I use them for. So these are probably what's most familiar to you. This is the egg noodle. So you just boil in water and then you can add it to your stir fry or even noodle soup. So that's what you are probably most familiar with, commonly available in supermarkets. And the other types, some are similar. You can get egg noodle in packets like that already cooked. I don't tend to get egg noodle or plain noodles in this pre-packed, pre-cooked state because you can see it's really slippery as I get it out of the pack. And what makes it slippery? It's oil. This pack actually isn't too bad, but sometimes you can see lots of oil at the bottom of the packet. So you can see it comes apart quite easily. That's a lot of extra oil there, so I don't tend to buy this one. So what I use is this udon noodle. So as you can see, it won't just slip out. It's a much thicker noodle. It's wheat based like this too, but because of the thickness, it's got lovely texture to it. It's quite bouncy, and this has no oil in the packet at all. And this goes straight in the wok, mixing with whatever you've got, a bit of water, and it'll be ready. You just heat it through and it'll soften and it'll come apart. So that's much easy, much healthier than this, I think. I like the texture in it. If you're using this type of noodle as with other noodles, it's always good to rinse through after you boil it, because that's a lot of starch that will come out in the water. So if you're making noodle soup, don't just use that water straight away because it's just really gloopy. The other thing about rinsing it through is you get rid of the extra starch, and obviously you worry about temperature. Rinse it through in hot water, and at the end you toss it with a little bit of sesame oil if you're not using it straight away to stop it sticking. But we're talking about just a little drizzle of it. The noodle that's been rinsed and not rinsed makes huge difference in the dish. The noodle dish you cook, if the noodle's been rinsed, it's much cleaner and fresher in taste. So these are the wheat-based ones. Most of these noodles you can get very easily from supermarkets. Actually, all the noodles I've got here, except these two, you can get, I bought them all from normal supermarkets. So they are not specialist shop ingredients at all. Okay, so we're now on to some other different types of dry noodle. So this is, again, wheat based. It comes in sticks. You can get it narrower than this, but you can also get it sort of as wide as my little finger. So those, like udon, you'll have a more texture, not that thick, the same thickness, but just wider. And you just, I guess it's kind of like when you get pasta, the flat pasta, and then you get tagliatelle, that's much wider. It's similar sort of differentiation, you know. You can use this in both stir fry or noodle soup, and like I said earlier, you rinse through to get rid of the extra starch for the fresher taste. Okay, so actually I'm going to put this over here because these are the wheat-based noodles. Now we're moving on to rice noodles. This is perfect for people who are on gluten-free diet. Rice, no gluten, obviously, and there's such variation in it in here. I'm going to open them all up and show them to you. Okay, so this is the most dramatic one. It's black rice noodle. I got it in a health food shop, and I think our sort of more upmarket supermarket will have it as well. Just look at this black. It's absolutely gorgeous. So these take very little time to cook. I'm not going to tell you how long it takes. There's a reason to it, because all these are different thickness, even in the thin ones. So just follow the instructions on the packet. So these are black and they're just dramatic. So I think this would be I wouldn't use this in a whole big bowl for, because I just think it's a bit wasteful. Okay, but it would be lovely in a starter, like a little salad, and you add ingredients to it that would stand out in the black. So say spring onion, some red pepper or tomato, red chili, some tofu that's white, you know, in contrast to this, or some prawns that would look beautiful as well. So just to show off the black. So this is a specialist noodle. Now we're on to more everyday rice noodle. Okay, so let's get them out. This pack comes in handy little portions like this, so it's 1 portion per person roughly. So this one, they just call it instant rice noodle. Let me put that to one side. This one, rice vermicelli, it is finer than this one. As you can see, it comes on one great big lump like that. So it's a messy job to separate. I'm not going to try to do it now, but as you can see from the side, it's been hunted dry and it's looped round like that, so it's really long pieces. So when you're breaking it, you might want to try to consider breaking it from here. Just snap it up and break it from here, just to make the noodle a little shorter. So when you're eating, it's not like you lift, and it go up right to the ceiling, and you still haven't seen the end of it. So this is 1 rice vermicelli. I have another rice vermicelli here. This is not a full pack because I've used some already. You can see there's quite a contrast between these two. Okay, so they're all essentially the same thing, just different thickness, different width. So this one, this is the one I use most because it's so easy to prepare. You just soak it in boiling hot water for 3 minutes, drain it, rinse it, it's ready. It doesn't get much quicker than that. So sometimes I just soak some of this rice noodle and open a tin fish like sardine or mackerel, and put some chili or some spice in it, and add some cucumber or what's that thing, avocado, and that is a really nice healthy lunch. So I use this one a lot. I use this is also the noodle that I use in my Taiwanese fried rice noodle recipe. So yeah, so these two. This one obviously will take longer to cook and it will hold the texture better. Some of the noodles, some of the rice noodles will actually tell you to boil, especially the finer ones. I would be very careful. I'd rather start with just soaking, because sometimes I find, well, this one, for example, it tells me to cook it, but if I cook it, it tends to go soggy so quickly. But if you start with soaking in boiling hot water and then taste it, if it's not done, you can always turn the heat on and cook it, simmer it for a little bit, like a minute, and then taste again. So just always go slowly and experiment, get to know your ingredients and see which one is your favorite, and then kind of stick with it, or at least that shape or thickness. Okay. When I'm breaking this, I normally get my tray out and break it over it. As you can see, it gets quite messy. This one, for those of you who enjoy Thai food, you're probably quite familiar with this. With pad Thai, this is a white-ish rice noodle. So just a different shape, and you can see these two are a bit different. This one is thinner, narrow, and that's just a wider version. And that's one even wider than this. So same ingredients, different shape, different size. So that's all pretty box standard, ordinary Western shop. Now we're on to these two. There are more specialist Oriental or Asian supermarket ones. This one, they call it in vermicelli. Sometimes they call it mung bean noodle, sometimes they call it glass noodle. Let me get it out, you'll see why they call it glass noodle. Okay. It's made with mung beans. I still find it quite amazing that you can you have a bean that is green and inside is sort of yellowy, and you end up with noodle looking white. And once you rehydrated it, cooked it, it goes just see-through like glass. I guess that's why it's got its name from. It's got more of a chew compared to rice noodle, but it's equally nice, and I often use this in a salad dish. Sort of, I just rehydrate it and I toss it in some seasoning and add some salady ingredients like shredded cucumber or little bits of ham and sesame and soy sauce seasoning dressing. So that's another one, and again that doesn't have gluten. And this one, the sweet potato vermicelli, it's quite new to me. I just discovered it recently. Look at that colour. It's just quite unreal. It really looks like plastic, and in this form it does look see-through already, so this is even more like glass noodle. And this is quite a bit thicker than this, the mung bean vermicelli, so it takes longer to cook, and it's got more bouncier, firmer texture, but it's delicious as well. So if you get a chance to experiment with different ones, if you made a trip down to the Oriental shop, get a packet and have fun with it.